Now at 5 and streaming on CrossroadsToday.com, the Galveston Bridge struck by a barge ship yesterday is now partially reopened, the latest in the cleanup efforts. And authorities are urging Calhoun County residents to report any damage after Monday's severe weather. Plus, forecasters are calling today a nightmare scenario as more rain heads to the southern part of the U.S.
Well, for us in the Crossroads, we've got to get ready because the storms are now pressing down on the I-10 corridor. You see that big blob there? That should be crossing over into Hallettsville and then Victoria within the next 2 hours. So it is not over with yet. We'll be talking all about that coming up in a moment.
Rising temperatures is increasing the sightings of more wildlife in one part of Texas. You're watching 25 News Now at 5. Good afternoon and thanks for being with us. I'm Karina Garcia. Let's take a look at your forecast with Chief Meteorologist Mac Bettis, who has the latest on our weather front.
Well, thank you very much, Karina. People are wondering, hey, where's the stormy weather? Well, there it is. It's just to the north of us. It's been a rough day over much of central and north Texas, but now that big bow is beginning to move southward into our region, and that is what's going to be affecting us probably within the next 2 hours, maybe sooner. We're going to get a one punch. First is this stuff coming in tonight. Then there's going to be a little break overnight in the overnight time period, but some more coming in on Friday morning. So this is going to be a little bit more widespread of a storm. That will give us 2 surges of rain, and we will likely be looking at maybe a little minor flooding by tomorrow morning. So let's just say we've got lots to talk about. Stay tuned. I'll have all the rest coming up in just a few minutes. Karina, back to you.
Mac, thank you. Calhoun County residents are urged to report storm damage from Monday to the state. If you had damages, go to damage.tdm.texas.gov. The National Weather Service confirmed an EF1 tornado hit near Port Lavaca Monday with maximum sustained winds of 105 miles an hour. The length of the tornado's path was over 13 miles. The National Weather Service also says damaging straight line winds around 85 miles an hour happened on the south side of Port Lavaca towards Magnolia Beach Monday. Straight line winds of 60 miles an hour were reported also in Port Alto. Now, southern states could receive as much as 3 inches of rain per hour during a new round of storms today. Forecasters say parts of Texas, Louisiana, and Mississippi could see significant flash flooding. The threat could stretch into Alabama, Georgia, and Florida tomorrow. Some communities in the path of these new storms are still picking up the pieces from the ones earlier this month. The Storm Prediction Center says this tornado season is already the second worst on record. And today we have County Commissioner Precinct 3 runoff candidate Brad Tucker in studio with us. 25 News Now anchor Don Brubaker is with him and has more.
Karina, thank you and welcome, sir. Welcome
Thank
back, actually.
Thank you very much.
Why did you want to run for the Victoria County Commissioner Precinct 3?
Well, you know, I've been working in and around Commissioner's Court or with them for going back to about 2002, and I watched the way they handled each specific situation, and I just always thought that based on my background and my experience, that's something that I could do well and something that a position where I could serve taxpayers.
What's the experience been like for a campaign now, as you were telling me earlier, that's been about a year?
Yeah, well, you know, for about the last 6 months, it's been going really strong, where we've been out talking to people and knocking on doors, things like that, and for several months before that, we were planning. I'm glad it's almost over. I'll say that much, but it's been fun. I've learned a lot. It's been a great experience. Met a lot of Victorians that I otherwise wouldn't have met, and I have no regrets.
Mm-hmm. What has your campaign done differently in the runoff election than you did from when you were running in the primary?
Really the biggest difference is we just had to hit fast forward. You know, I can't remember who it was, but they explained it to me as the primary is a marathon and the runoff is a sprint. So we just had very little time, especially with, you know, we had a couple of other elections squeezed in there. So we just had a lot of work to do in a small amount of time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you've been a businessman in the Crossroads for almost 20 years. With your experience in the private sector, how much can that help in the public sector on Commissioner's Court?
Well, I think it'll help. I think it helps me bring a fresh set of eyes to things. I think in the private sector, we are forced to be effective and efficient. We have to get things done. We have to get them done for a fair value. If not, we don't stay in business. So I'd like to transition that to the private sector so that we can provide the services that we need to provide, but do them effectively and efficiently so that we can keep our taxes as low as possible.
How would you look at costs differently for Victoria County, because you have to look at costs every day in your business?
Right. Well, the thing I'm not afraid to do is take a budget, and I'm used to dealing with some big budgets, and go line item by line item through it and try to identify areas where we could do things a little bit better. We still need to provide the same services. We still need to pay county employees well, things like that. But there's a lot of, anytime you have a budget that size, there's areas where you can save money. And I'd like to look through that and help identify some of those areas.
Save the taxpayers some money.
Save the taxpayers some money, yes, sir. Especially Victoria County owns a lot of buildings. There's a lot of building construction, makes up a good portion of our budget every year. Obviously the road and bridge fund, that's something, a couple $1 million every year. So those are the kinds of things that specifically I could take a look at and try to save some money.
Right. Mr. Tucker, thanks for coming by and thanks for taking our questions.
Thank you very much. I appreciate your time.
Yeah, you bet. All right. Karina, back to you.
Don, thank you. Here's your Veer poll this afternoon. You can scan that QR code right there on your screen to vote. The question is, who are you voting for in the May 28th runoff? Is it Brad Tucker or Shan Martin, or not in your precinct? We want to hear from you. Come to crossroadstoday.com/vote to take part. And of course, we're going to have an update on 25 News Now at 6. The Pelican Island Bridge at Galveston, Texas is now open to traffic leaving the island. Two-way pedestrian traffic is also allowed as investigators look at damage from Wednesday's barge strike. Pedestrian traffic entering the island is only open to residents, employees, and students of Texas A&M Galveston. The source of the oil spill has now been contained, and there are no reports of injuries. The U.S. Coast Guard estimates that up to 2,000 gallons of oil may have spilled from this collision. Now, golfers at a golf club in El Paso had an uninvited spectator last week, and that's a bobcat. With rising temperatures in the region, sightings of wildlife are becoming a lot more common.
This is what golfers saw just days ago while visiting the course. Just feet away from them, a large bobcat walking away. While this isn't the first time we've seen a bobcat sighting, Texas Parks and Wildlife urban biologist Louis Balin tells me it's due to the rise in temperature and drought that we've had in the recent weeks.
They have requirements for survival and thriving, and that would be food, water, shelter, and space. So they're coming down for all of the above, or at least one of those. For
some El Pasoans, it's becoming too common.
I was lying down and it just sounded like somebody was running on my roof. It just sounded like footsteps. And I said, hey, Mom, there's somebody on the roof.
Hector Garcia says he's familiar with bobcats in the desert, but never expected to see one run across his roof.
I saw it. I said, oh, that's a cat. And then when it turned sideways, I kind of like, oh, and it just went boom, and it just jumped so quick. And it was gone by the time it got on the ground. They were so fast. I couldn't believe how quick they were, but they're really fast. So, and then after that, I kind of started shaking a little bit. I got nervous, but, it was scary.
Texas Parks and Wildlife says that if you encounter a bobcat, it's important to stay calm and scare them away.
It was probably more scared of me than I was of it.
Wildlife experts say you should never feed a bobcat if you happen to see one. This morning revealed its new Fallen Officers Memorial during the department's yearly Peace Officers Memorial Service. DPS Director Stephen McCraw and members of the Public Safety Commission were joined by Governor Greg Abbott and former DPS Director Lamar Beckworth. The DPS Peace Officers Memorial Service offers an opportunity to pay tribute and honor the legacy of fallen DPS officers and non-commissioned employees who gave their lives in the line of duty.
Names etched in this monument are a forever testament that you can show your family members, your kids, your grandkids, nieces and nephews, and future generations, when somebody can walk across these grounds 50 years from now and know that your family member gave their life for the ultimate cause in this state, and that's the cause of public safety in the great state of Texas.
DPS also revealed its new memorial display located inside the DPS headquarters main lobby. Both the new fallen officers memorial and memorial display will serve as a permanent place to remember those who made the ultimate sacrifice in service of their fellow Texans. Cuero's new mayor took his oath of office at the city council meeting Monday evening. Although he is new to the position, Emil Garza was born and raised in Cuero. The former city councilman at large has a background in leadership from his 32 years in the Air Force and 25 years as a prison warden. He's also already worked with the city council and says they're a strong team. Garza emphasized transparency in decision making for Cuero. He also wants the people in Cuero to know that they can trust him.
I want to be transparent with everything that goes on. No secrets, man. No secrets at all. I think
the first meeting as mayor is June 10th. He acknowledged upcoming challenges, particularly regarding the budget for the city. Garza invited the community to all the meetings, and he says the future of Cuero relies with collaboration with the city council as well as the community. Now remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Crossroads Today. Hit the like button and click that notification bell. For now, stay with us. Body cam of this week's fatal bus crash in Central Florida now released. That's straight ahead on 25 News Now at 5. Also ahead, a new report shows the number of sexual assaults in the U.S. military dropped just last month. Florida police released body cam video of first responders arriving at the scene of the deadly bus crash that killed 8 people and left 40 others hospitalized. The bus is seen on its side and surrounded by rescue crews looking for victims. A retired school bus loaded with farm workers collided with a pickup truck Tuesday and went off-road before hitting a tree. 41-year-old Brian Howard is charged with 8 counts of DUI manslaughter. He's currently being held without bond. Court records show he was in another crash 3 days before this deadly collision. The U.S. military saw a decrease in sexual assault for the first time since 2015. More than 7,200 service members reported some form of harassment last year. That's roughly 110 less from 2020, and a drop was noticed in all military branches' defense. Secretary Lloyd Austin addressed the issue of sexual assault during Sexual Assault Awareness and Prevention Month. He said, quote, "The only acceptable number of sexual assaults is 0. Pentagon authorities say they are cautiously optimistic that their previous efforts to target harassment has started to show the results. Now, scientists have identified a group of COVID variants with these same mutations, and some worry these variants could lead to a summer wave of infections.
In less than 2 months, the KP.2 variant has overtaken JN.1 variant, becoming the dominant strain spreading in the U.S., now causing around 28% of COVID-19 infections.
There's some suggestion that it might be more easily transmissible. It does not, however, seem to be causing more severe disease.
That's the first thing Dr. Priya Sampath-Kumar with Mayo Clinic says people should know about this new variant, which is one of several being called flirt variants, spreading at a time when experts are coming up with formulations for the fall COVID vaccine.
The WHO recommended that the JN.1 strain be the basis of the vaccine, but now in the US, they're reconsidering whether that would be the case or whether they would need to focus on this newly mutated strain instead.
Sampath-Kumar says the current vaccines may not work as effectively to prevent transmission, but she says getting one can still prevent severe disease from a COVID infection. Next, the doctor says the flirt variants cause the same kinds of respiratory symptoms as earlier variants, such as cough, fever, headache, and muscle aches. Because the new variants appear to spread easily, they could fuel a summer wave of the virus.
People are going to be traveling on vacation, going to ball games, going to concerts, etc.
Finally, you can protect yourself and others by washing your hands, masking in crowded areas, and if you're sick, stay home. For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
Free health screenings will be available at Walmart pharmacies across the country this weekend as part of Walmart Wellness Day. Free health screenings for glucose, cholesterol, BMI, and blood pressure will be available, as well as vision screenings. Immunizations for COVID-19, shingles, tetanus, and others will also be available. The event runs from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. on Saturday at all Walmart pharmacies.
Well, you might be asking, where's the stormy weather? And the answer is it's right here. In fact, it's just crossed over the I-10 corridor. It is going to be dropping down into the crossroads, into Victoria County. Those of you to the north, you're first, Hallettsville and Gonzales, and then it'll be in the city, probably within the hour. Looks like 2 bands of stormy weather rolling through tonight. I'll have more details on that coming up in a moment.
This is a severe weather alert from the 25 News Now First Warn Storm Team.
Well, folks, we got to get ready because it is definitely on its way. Here you are, and here's where the stormy weather is. It just crossed over I-10 about an hour ago, right over Gonzales and Moulton and those areas. Hallettsville, you're probably next. And that'll be dropping southward tonight and affecting pretty much everybody in the crossroads. And then there's going to be a little bit of a complication. I'll talk to you about it in a second. Here's the big storm center, and this big bow echo here is producing a very heavy rain, thunder, and lightning that's now rolling to the north, to the southeast into the El Campo area as well. More on that in a moment. Now, you remember I told you about this area of low pressure that was spinning around that was going to come in and produce the heavy weather. Well, funny, it stalled a little bit. The first band of storms managed to get away and continue moving south, but until this passes us, it's not going to end. So we do have 2 periods of stormy weather. Now, there is a tornado watch for Wharton County and all to the northeast. Okay, it doesn't include us, but if you've got interests or family anywhere on the other side of Rosenberg, they're going to be looking at the heavy stuff. Now, here's Gonzales, and you can see the stormy weather. This is a huge line of storms. Bryan College Station all the way down to Brennan and down to Gonzales and Flatonia. They're getting it right about now. So the question is, what about us? Well, let me show you that in the time, hourly by hourly. We are also in an enhanced risk of severe storms tonight and again tomorrow. See this area? Now here's Victoria, but that's really up along I-10. Now tomorrow, which gets interesting because the second band comes in early on Friday, we are still in this slight risk of stormy weather. So instead of being one big punch, it's sort of a 1-2 punch, taking more than maybe 6-8 hours, maybe 10 hours before it all passes through. All right, here we're going to go hour by hour. This is 7 p.m. tonight. You can see the stormy weather down to Hallettsville. We go forward to 9 o'clock Thursday. And what happens here? Well, there's Victoria. I expect it to be rather stormy overnight. There's Edna. The line goes all the way out to probably the Goliad-Beeville area. That's tonight. And then at 10 o'clock, there starts to get a little bit of a break. And you're thinking, okay, it's over, it's all gone. Not really. You still need that area of low pressure to move through. And so on Friday, early in the morning, another band's coming through, 2 a.m. and then 4 a.m. right about there. And then 6 a.m. right about there. And then so the morning hours of Friday are going to be stormy as well. Keep that in mind for Friday work. Then by Friday, 8 a.m., big stuff out to the west of us, and then it rolls through us, and it's not until about maybe after lunchtime that things actually clear up. And then the stormy weather will start pulling out by sundown tomorrow afternoon. So it's a 1-2 punch. It's a Thursday night and a Friday morning thing. Temperatures tomorrow will be slightly down because of the additional shower activity. And then you're wondering, what about the weekend? Well, I've got more on that. Interesting to note that we start watching the tropics now. The Pacific storm season has opened up as of yesterday, actually. And right here will be likely the first Pacific storm. Not a factor as far as we're concerned, but it's just of curiosity that we need to know everything that moves out there. Tomorrow, tonight, scattered storms. Tomorrow, scattered storms, only about 80 along the coast. Tomorrow, Cuero, we're looking for stormy weather, certainly pretty much all day long. Now, what about the weekend? Well, it's good. By Friday night, this pulls out. Saturday and Sunday are looking sunny and warm. And then we've got a little bit of a heat wave dealing with for most of next week when we'll be in the mid-90s. That's your 7-day forecast, reminding everybody we do have a QR code. Love for you to scan that, put Crossroads Today on your phone. And here's Karina.
Thank you, Mac. And coming up next on 25 News Now at 5, we're going to take a look at your stocks. Plus, one TSA official believes this summer will be the season of new travel records. Taking a look at your stocks, the Dow down 39 points, the S&P 500 down 11 points, and the Nasdaq down 44 points. Oil up 60 cents, closing at $79.23 per barrel. The Transportation Security Administration expects to set new records for air travel this summer. TSA's administrator says the agency believes it will screen more than 3 million passengers on some peak days this coming season. He says so far the agency has screened about 8% more passengers this year than they did at this point last year. Memorial Day, May 27th, is considered to be the official start of the summer travel season. And stay with us. We're going to take one last look at your forecast with Mac. Plus, a judge in Indiana has answered one of humankind's most important questions. Is a taco a sandwich? We have the answer next. Plus, here's a look at world news tonight, right after 25 News Now at 5.
Tonight, Michael Cohen returns to the stand. Plus, as Ukraine faces a Russian onslaught,
you are not alone.
Will billions in U.S. aid get to the front line in time? More Americans turn to World News Tonight with David Muir, the most watched newscast on television.
Some controversy. An Indiana judge ruled that a taco is a sandwich. It all started in Fort Wayne when a taco shop owner opened his business in an area where the city designated only restaurants that serve sandwiches could open. The owner argued his restaurant is legal because tacos are Mexican sandwiches. The issue was settled Monday, where the judge ruled that tacos and burritos are in fact sandwiches. He pointed out the language in the restriction does not limit restaurants to only American cuisine. Now,
That was the interesting part.
That was the interesting, but I will say I do not agree.
You don't think it's a sandwich?
Absolutely not.
What do you think it is?
A taco's a taco.
Oh, well, good point. I think it's a holding system, and it's much better because when you do the sandwich, the stuff comes out on the bottom.
Yeah.
It doesn't come out of a taco.
But I think as Mexican Americans, we have to stand firm on this.
Well, yeah. It is. Okay. It's unique unto itself. All right, here's our forecast, folks. Get ready. The stormy weather is just to the north. coming in through Hallettsville. It'll be in Victoria probably within the next 2 hours, and it'll be a stormy night. Now, there'll be a break overnight. There's more tomorrow morning, so stay tuned.
All righty. Thank you, Mac, and thank you for being with us. We hope to see you back here tonight for 25 News Now at 6.